All right. So first things first, I got to go ahead and get this off my chest. I hate this reskin ticket. So first things first. Yeah, I absolutely hate the reskin that they did for YouTube. Just going to go ahead and throw that out there right now. But whatevs. So, this video might, the title of it might seem a little weird to people that are watching. But the reason why I'm saying this is because I've been noticing several things happening in mainstream media. And that is, they are being forced at this point to acknowledge that the left is doing something wrong. They're more than happy to recognize that the right does shit wrong. Like whenever the right does something wrong, doesn't matter how small, they report on it, and then they conflate it, and then they inflate it, and they decide that they're going to go ahead and just report on that and nothing else. I mean, hell, go ahead and take a look at CNN. Instead of covering the hurricane that just hit Texas and everything that came about from that, they decided that they were going to report on Trump and bitch about Trump and his policies and that sort of thing, instead of focusing on a real threat, such as, oh, I don't know, a hurricane smashing into us. Now, I've never been in a hurricane. I hope to never be in a fucking hurricane. My thoughts and prayers go out to the people of Texas who got hit, who were in that thing's path. That's gotta suck. One of the things I don't think of when I think of Texas is instant backyard swimming pool. But I'm more specifically going to be kind of focusing on how the media handled Charlottesville and now how they're handling Berkeley. I'm also going to be focusing on how they've handled stuff in Berkeley in the past, because there's differences between all those things. Now, anyone who's been paying attention to the news knows that Berkeley is, by long and far, the biggest problem child in the U.S. But the thing is with this latest thing where only a few people showed up to listen to conservative values, which is kind of fucking funny, given the fact that the thing was orchestrated and led by a transgender woman who supports Trump, who is conservative. It's funny to me because that did not stop the left. The left still showed up, and this shows right there that they don't care about transgender people having a voice. They care about them saying the right thing. Now, I've made my thoughts on transgenderism completely fucking clear. But the fact of the matter is I'm still not going to sit there and say that a person's not allowed to speak because they're transgender. But the fact of the matter is at this, and I'm just going to call it what it is. It was a fucking attack. These people got together. You know, they were talking about freedom of speech and not silencing people, how Marxism is dangerous, how communism is dangerous, that sort of thing. Well, there were some you know, all bark, no bite lefties that showed up. You know, they were sitting there doing their typical, you know, throwing their toys out the pram thing, you know, just sitting there and being a fucking nuisance, whatever. You know, they can go ahead and do that. I don't mind those. But then you had the actual anarcho-communists show up. And then all hell broke loose. And the thing is the police chief even said that they were there while there was a peaceful situation, but that they pulled their forces out when the anarcho-communists showed up. Let that settle in. The police pulled their forces out when the anarcho-communists showed up. At that point, that is the police force in Berkeley turning a blind eye to what they knew was going to become violence. And this is by orders of the mayor. The mayor has basically said, don't interfere with by any means necessary, which is also a branch of Antifa. It's just Antifa with a different fucking name. Let's not delude ourselves. They don't even delude themselves. They even openly admit that they are a branch of Antifa. So, the violence kicked off. People were attacked. You know, people that weren't putting up any resistance, that were walking away as soon as the stuff started and that sort of thing. These people were ran down. In fact, they showed one person being ran down and actually fucking beaten. Like, it wasn't even like they were trying to run him out of town. No, they wanted to beat this person, and they did. And the only reason why they were able to do that is because the police were not responding. Because the police were told not to get involved. How many times does something like this have to happen before we actually take a look at these politicians and say, you're not acting in the interest of the people. You are not acting in the interest of society. You are protecting a specific group. You are, in essence, ignoring the law to protect people that are causing violence, that are causing destruction to public property, that are disturbing the peace, that are denying people their right to free speech through said violence. How long is it going to take? I mean, obviously there are people out there saying it. I mean, hell, here I am fucking saying it. But I'm more at that point talking to the people that live in my state. Because it's no secret I live in California. And I understand why people call it California. I fully understand it. I don't disagree with it. But this is absolutely ridiculous. We should never, at any point, tell people that it's okay for them to ignore the law to push a political narrative. And the thing is now we're at the point where people are having an issue, let's say. Even CNN had to admit that the people that were quote unquote quote right wing were the peaceful ones, and that the violence stemmed from Antifa. Now, I don't know about you, but that should say quite a bit, given how the media has been covering Antifa with all the positive stuff. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, they're trying to minimize the violence. They're trying to minimize the damage to the reputation there. But even the mainstream media is having to sit there and say Antifa is violent, because at this point, pretty much all their other excuses were stripped from them, because this was a small group of conservatives that was there. None of them fought back. The police weren't there in droves, so there wasn't any tension from that. And then at the same time, Antifa showed up with many more people than there were conservatives. They started hunting these people down. They were using every bit of violence. They were attacking random fucking people. And it was all caught on camera. And they had no little tidbit, no little 5-second clip of someone from the conservative side really throwing a punch. They tried to sit there and say that the boy that pulled out his pepper spray, who didn't even get a chance to use his pepper spray, they were going to try to spin that. You could definitely tell by the way they were gearing up, but then they realized, oh shit, this is the only thing we fucking have, and all the rest of it is Antifa attacking unarmed people. But the thing is that boy was also completely justified, because those people were attacking not only him, but also his father. And his father didn't exactly look like a spring chicken. So they had no choice. People are sitting there and saying, oh, well, maybe the mainstream media is getting it. No. They were backed into a corner. Let's wait until the next thing. Let's wait until the next time that something like this happens, which we're not going to have to wait too long, let's be honest, and see how they respond to that. If they sit there and they actually start calling the punches fair, then we can maybe go ahead and have that discussion. But as it stands right now, the media was just forced into telling the truth here. And even when they were forced to tell the truth, they tried to minimize. They tried to make it not seem as much. Like when they sat there and said, oh, about 100 people showed up. I was looking at that footage. I could tell you right now, on the ground, I would be able to tell that there were more than 100 people there. Even at ground level, I would be able to tell that there were more than 100 people there that were violent, that were looking for a fight, that were looking to just shut down speech. So they couldn't even tell the full truth when they were forced to tell the truth. They told their little half truths. They were basically at this point, people are saying, "Oh, look at them! They're calling them out." No, they're not calling them out. They're damage control. And anyone who's watched my channel for any amount of time will know that I give credit where credit is due. But right now, I don't feel like the mainstream media deserves credit for what they did. They still did the shittiest fucking reporting job that they could have. They're still being biased. Because figure it this way, if it takes conservatives being the vast minority, having absolutely no retaliation from the conservatives or from the quote unquote right wing, having to be led by someone who is transgender, the police actively saying that they pulled out when they saw the violent group coming in, because they saw the violent group coming in. You can go ahead and ask it now, Malcolm, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to finish off with this thought, and then I'll answer it. But then, they have to sit there and not have anything that they can spin into quote unquote right-wing violence on video. And then they sit there and say, yeah, there were a few Antifa people that went over the top. Is that really accurate reporting of the situation that happened? Is that really reporting the truth? Is that being unbiased in their reporting? I don't think so. So let's just call a spade here. They weren't calling out Antifa. They were damage controlling. They were trying to say, oh, well, it's just a few bad apples. Well, what about in Charlottesville? Let's go ahead and take a look at that. Did they show that kind of reporting in Charlottesville? Oh, no, they didn't. They focused on the racists. They focused on the white supremacists. They focused on members of the KKK. They focused on all that shit. They didn't focus on the hundreds of others that were there. Oh, no. They focused on maybe 50 or 60 people. But they didn't focus on the other hundreds that were there that were just pissed off that history is being erased. That they think that we shouldn't forget history because we need to learn from history. So, yeah, the reporting isn't even. Oh, and they also refused to report on Antifa being violent. And then when Trump actually brought up that Antifa brought the violence, that they were the ones who went there looking to be violent, Trump got a razz of shit for it. People were trying to say that him sitting there and denouncing violence, period, is him siding with the right. Well, that seems to be the flavor of the day. You know, oh, like even in their defense, let's think about this. If saying that violence is bad is defending the values of the right, then what does that say about the left? See, the thing is when you actually take a look at their arguments, they can't even lie properly. They can't even cover their bases. Because if saying and that violence is bad, if denouncing violence from anyone based on political reasons is defending the right, well, then it sounds like the right has the right idea. That might be the reason why there are so many people that are actually centrist that are starting to now lean more and more toward the right. Because I know I'm not the only one who's thought of this. That when the mainstream media says that Trump saying that violence is deplorable on all sides, that that's somehow defending the right. It's all like, really? So you're saying that the left doesn't believe that violence shouldn't be used? Well, of course not, because we have a lot of leftist groups that are more than happy to say that they are willing to punch someone if they think that they're a Nazi or a white supremacist or even just guilty of wrongthink. And that it should be perfectly acceptable to do so, to punch someone that they disagree with, but those people not be able to fight back. It shouldn't be acceptable for them to use violence. Only the left. It seems today that the naming conventions for these groups, other than by any means necessary, they're the only ones that are actively named properly on the left. But Antifa, Black Lives Matter, they all run counterintuitive to what their names are. They stand for the opposite fucking shit. And people are getting sick and tired of the smoke and mirrors. The trick's been exposed. Learn a new one. All right, so Malcolm's asking, okay, well, in short, my mother has a bad history of boyfriends, and some guy asked for help, and my uncle doesn't help. So my mom was saying that men have been using women for years. Now that men are being used by women, then it's no big deal, and I shouldn't have answered her because she was talking to me. I should shut up and not argue with her about it. I disagree with that, Malcolm. 100%. Whenever someone says some ignorant bullshit like that, use your knowledge. Bring up the facts. Yeah, it will piss them off. And even if it's your own mother. Like when my mom sits there and says some ignorant shit, which she does from time to time, we all say ignorant shit, let's be honest. Even I will call her out straight to her face. I honestly believe that you should never be afraid to tell the truth. You should never think that the truth isn't worthwhile. And if she's going to sit there and say that men have been using women for years, well, guess what? Women have always used men. All the way back. Women have used men for protection. Women have used men to go out and gather resources for them. Is it true that men have used women in the past? Yes, it's very true. But it's in very specific aspects, whereas women have used men for just about anything, for power gain. I mean, men have used women for power gain as well, but again, a little bit of a rarity. Because if by her standard, men have always held the power, then how could men have possibly used women to gain power? That's another thing. Don't be afraid to turn the person that you're arguing with's absurdity back on them. Let them checkmate themselves in any argument, and they will do it. Liars will always checkmate themselves. They'll always paint themselves into a corner. And if they're an active liar, they're going to get mad and so on and so forth, because no liar likes to get caught while lying. But if they're being ignorant, then maybe they'll actually learn something. Maybe they'll actually go, my arguments can't stand up on their own and they're easily countered and turned back on me. Maybe, just maybe, I'm wrong. That's a very important thing nowadays. And that's one of the reasons why freedom of speech is the #1 enemy for a subsection of our country. Or should I say, not even our country, but in the world. This doesn't just apply to the US. This applies to pretty much every country at this point. Freedom of speech is not just in danger here. It's in danger everywhere. The reason why they don't want free speech is because free speech can only exist where there's freedom of thought. People keep saying that this is a war on free speech. I disagree. It's a war on freedom of thought, on a freedom of self. And there's wrongdoings on, like Trump said, on all sides. Don't get me wrong. For example, whenever I hear someone that's a conservative saying that leftists shouldn't have a platform, I'm like, no. That is not the way of going about this. Fighting fire with fire at this point is not going to be effective. I don't want to see anyone deplatformed. I want everyone to be able to come out and make their argument, but I want everyone else to feel free to actually use that same platform to argue back. It's a very specific thing. And the reason why I believe that is because that's the only idea to find out which ideas are shit and which ideas are awesome. You know, which ideas hold water, which ideas are a leaky bucket. Now, Malcolm, in the case of what your mother said, it's demonstrably false. Unless you're going to go down to technicalities. But if she wants to go to technicalities, well, guess what, man? You are armed to the fucking teeth, and she's scraping and scrounging to find rocks to throw. It was an exceedingly ignorant statement brought about by misinformation that she has absorbed, as well as her own confirmation bias. And even on its face, like let's say, for the sake of argument that it's true, because I love to do this as well. Let's say for the sake of argument that what she said was true about men having used women in the past. Let's go ahead and just for the sake of argument, humor her on that. Then shouldn't women be absolutely against using men, since they're supposed to be the empathetic ones, the sympathetic ones? Shouldn't they know how badly that affects someone? Shouldn't they be able to show empathy? I mean, isn't it naturally inherent for women to show empathy? I mean, come on now. It's all part of the same narrative. I find it fascinating how many arguments nowadays are self-defeating. How many ideologies there are out there. And let's not fool ourselves. These are ideologies at war. It's not people, it's ideologies. It's rigid factors of thought. People unwilling to admit that they might be wrong. I find it interesting that people are so easily self-defeated by their own arguments. All you have to do is use their own premise against them, and their arguments fall apart. If your argument cannot fight itself, then it's not strong enough. That's the reason why I love joking around whenever someone sits there and, mentions people with voices in their head and, oh, well, how do you deal with that? It's all like, well, have yourself a good argument. Because those voices in your head know how you think. You know how the voices in your head think. So at this point, now that's the best fucking test. Now, I don't have voices in my head. I mean, I have my own inner voices, just like anyone else. I have the voice saying, oh, you shouldn't do that, that's mean. And then I have the other voice sitting there and saying, fuck it, do it. Everyone fucking has that. Everyone has their angel. Everyone has their devil. Let's just be fucking honest here. But I love to joke around with that. Because the thing is it's true. The best way of coming up with an unbeatable argument is for you yourself to argue against it. If you can checkmate yourself with your own argument, you might not want to use it, because you better believe there's going to be someone out there that's going to see that pattern and they are going to use it against you, and then you're just going to look like an ass. But that's how you do it. And I don't know if any of you have seen me argue with the leftists before. I don't know if any of you might have subscribed to me on Twitter or anything like that, but in the past. But I do that. I use my enemy's weaponry against them, and they hate it. Nothing worse than getting stabbed with your own sword. Well, you see, the thing is it sounds like your mother knows that she's wrong, dude. Because Malcolm says, I know it is, but every time I talk, it's an argument, so I let her be stupid. I tried to show my mom her thinking is backwards on her birthday. She said that I have an attitude. Then okay, shut up. It sounds like she knows that she's wrong, but that she doesn't want to address the truth. She is willingly ignorant. But that, and you're not going to change what she thinks, but don't back down. Don't capitulate. Ever. But that's my personality, in all honesty. And sorry for me sitting there and saying, "Oh, you need to be more like me." Don't take it that way. But I'm just saying there are so many people that sit there and say, "Oh, well, I'll just let it go. I'll just let it go. I'll just let it go." Well, then people see that and they see that there's no one arguing with these people, and so they think there is no counter argument. Because sad to say, there are a lot of people out there right now that honestly believe that if someone isn't saying something against someone else, then that person must be right. If no one's taking the time to argue with the person, then what that person is saying must be right, no matter how absurd. It can be absurd on its face, and people will go ahead and have that little issue. I mean, I guess that comes from us breeding a consumer culture. But the thing is at this point, there are so many people out there that have so many good arguments that just think it's a waste of time to bring those arguments up. Well, the reason why I said that, Malcolm, thank you. I do appreciate it. But the reason why I said, I don't want to try to, tell anyone to be like me, and be that one guy. We all know that guy. I mean, hell, you guys know me, so at least y'all know one of that guy, the guy that just will not stay quiet, right? There's that guy, and guys like me tend to be insufferable. I'll admit that about myself. I'm insufferable as fuck. And people think that I'm telling everyone that they have to be that way. No, I'm not saying that. But whenever someone is being that ignorant, when they sit there and they start saying, all right, it's time for you to shut up, that's when you sit there and go. As soon as they tell you that you do not have a right to defend yourself or defend your ideas, that's when you have to stand. That's when you have basically a duty to stand up and say something. Because that is not okay. Because if you're consistently silencing yourself just to try to avoid a little bit of a fucking conflict, then it's going to reprogram your mind to do that. And all of a sudden, you're going to lose your ability to argue because you're not going to have the spine for it. Because now your brain is programmed to strictly avoid conflict at all costs. And then when it comes time for you to argue, your fangs and claws will have dulled. And you won't be able to win, even if you have facts on your side. That's one of the reasons why I argue against trolls. Because those are unwinnable battles. Let's be honest, they are. Because trolls sit there. You've got multiple types of trolls, but I break them down into two subcategories. You have the general troll, but then they break down. You have the troll that's exceedingly well educated on the thing, and they're just saying what they're saying to get a rise out of people. But then you have the troll that actually believes their shit. But they're just going out there looking for a fight. So if I was to be described as a troll, I would probably be in the latter. But the thing is I'm a troll because I tell the truth. And love, that is a very, very good point. Malcolm is right there. You're right on this. Love says women and men, to a lesser extent, have been indoctrinated with feminism so steeply that it's not even acceptable to try and correct a woman, not even your mother. And the thing is I'm going to go ahead and add one little bit to that, especially your mother. Because remember, it's not socially acceptable to want to stick it to your mom, right? Now, I know that that's kind of a gross thing. Sorry, guys. But let's be honest. You know, you're not exactly supposed to want to fuck your own mom. So feminists can't sit there and say, oh, well, you know, he's just arguing against his mom because, you know, because she won't give him sex, because she friend zoned him. That's off the fucking table. I mean, there's going to be some psycho ass feminists that are going to fucking go that way. I mean, hell, some of the ones that come from an area like mine, you know, they might sit there and make that argument because they don't see a problem with fucking their own mother. They don't see how that might be a fucking issue. But the thing is it takes away one of their arguments, one of their little ad hominems, I should say. Because that's all they have for arguments at this point, is ad hominem. Because as soon as facts get brought up, they all automatically start attacking the person. They can't attack the argument. Or they attack the source of the information, not the information itself. And I understand, you know, taking a look at a source of information, like, you know, if the KKK was to come out with some study that quote unquote definitively shows that that blacks are the root of all evil in the world, I'm not going to look at that study and take it seriously because of where it came from. But they'll even attack an independent third party that might sit there and say, yeah, we did the test, and yeah, pound for pound, men tend to be stronger than women. They'll attack that source saying, oh, well, it was just full of sexists. Well, it was an all-woman team. Well, then it was just internalized misogyny. You know, you see that sort of shit coming down the pipeline constantly. And love, that's actually a very common thing. Love says, I'll sit there and explain something to my mom. I'll get her to agree with me. And then the next day she'll say she doesn't agree anymore. And that's the thing. A lot of people have a really short attention span or memory span when it comes to information like this, because people don't want to retain that uncomfortable information. I mean, just think of it this way. As you've aged, like there have been things that you've done in the past that have embarrassed the fuck out of you. We've all done it. We were all kids at some point. We tend to not exactly remember that shit, and it'll just kind of burst through every once in a while. That memory will come through every once in a while, and we're just like, oh God, why? And then relegated back to the depths of our mind it goes. Well, the thing is this information is very similar to that. They have the information, but then they compartmentalize it. They won't integrate it into their daily thought because it's uncomfortable. And nowadays, we're educated to not take on what is uncomfortable. We're educated basically to take the easy way out. Well, love, I guess I missed that programming somewhere along the line, because as you can tell, I'm more than willing to cause conflict with people if I believe that it's needed. I'm more than willing to correct people. Love says, not only that, but we've been so feminized that we can't even do natural things that men do, like correct others and have conflict with others. It's very true. A lot of people are that way, but there's more and more men now that are regaining that masculinity, whether it be through going MGTOW and being with other men who have just taken a very healthy dose of fuck it. But I even know one MGTOW that was actually raised by a single mother. I mean, me actually knowing this person in real life, not on the internet or anything like that. We actually just kind of met on our own. But the thing is the reason why he's MGTOW is because of the fact that his mom, while she was raising him, every time he did something kind of effeminate and that sort of thing, you know, that appeasement bullshit, it was funny because she would sit there and punish him for it and saying, I'm raising a man, not a little girl. In fact, there was one point where, and I mean, I guess this would be considered abuse nowadays, but the thing is, this is the only way to really counter out the programming at this point since it's so pervasive. She actually, one time when he did some effeminate thing, I forget what it was. Oh yeah, he started a fight with someone and then went running to the yard duty after he got his ass kicked and got the other kid suspended. Well, she punished him. She said, well, if you're going to act like a girl, then you're going to dress like a girl. She went out and bought him a dress and made him wear a dress for the next 3 days while he was on his suspension. Because the whole, the whole no tolerance policy, and it came out that he had started the fight and all that sort of shit. But, and honestly, that's the way that I think it really needs to fucking go at this point. And actually, my dad wasn't the one who really spanked me. Just to address what you're saying, because Love says father is supposed to beat your ass a bit when you have no father, then that doesn't happen and you can't fight your mom, so you never get that natural release. Exactly. But the thing is my dad was actually, like I said, I come from kind of a weird family. My dad actually wasn't the one to spank me. In fact, he was the one who more believed in timeout than anything else. The only reason why the spanking stopped is because they realized that I was more affected by the timeout than I was the spankings. And my dad actually kind of laughed at it because he said, you see, the thing is he's already going through a lot of physical stuff, because even as a little kid, I got into fights all the fucking time for whatever reason. You name it, it happened. I fought all my life. In fact, this current stint that I'm going through right now is the longest time I've gone without a fight, and that's 3 years. And this is by far the longest I've gone without getting into physical conflict with someone. I gotta admit, I'm not happy about it, because to a certain degree, I enjoy fighting. But I only enjoy the fight when it's over something stupid, you know? I'm all like, all right, I'm here now. This is pointless. Might as well enjoy it. Wow, Love. Love says, growing up, I had literally no male influence. My mom was the opposite. If I displayed any masculinity, my mom would shame me and emasculate me and call me a male chauvinist pig. That sucks, dude. I'm glad that you managed to at least somewhat keep your sanity, or should I say regain your sanity, because I'm pretty sure you went insane for a while there. But the fact of the matter is at this point, I'm noticing kind of a trend with women. They're getting sick and tired of them not having any real men to go after, right? And so now the ones that are raising sons are actually sitting there trying to find masculine figures for them, trying to get that masculinity back in because they want some real men in the world. And so it's kind of it's kind of funny that at this point we're starting to see more and more single moms who are raising single sons. And I'm not saying all of them. Wait, is that for real, Legend? Legend says, hear the news from Putin. Feminism is now declared a terrorist organization. Oh, sounds like I need to fucking move to Russia. God damn. I'd fit in perfectly there. Other than the fact that I speak out against authority, and so I'd probably be shot upon hitting the border. Well, you see, the thing is love, you know, the whole saying, you know, with great power comes great responsibility. I mean, that's definitely that's definitely applicable uh to male strength. You know, it's all like, yeah, we have a lot of strength, but we do have to keep it in check. I mean, I'm not one of those people that says that you know, if you're a strong male, you should just go out and attack anyone uh you know, that comes across your path. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is why in the hell should we be afraid of using our strength when it's actually needed? Like if we're being attacked by someone, take for example the Berkeley situation that just happened recently. You know, it's all like, why should we have to sit there and run from a group when, I mean, take a look at the men that were running and then take a look at the people that were chasing them down. I guarantee at least a 5-to-1 ass kicking ratio. Actually, I did look that up, and they actually have met their numbers for it. Legend. They actually got 160 signatures as of the last time I checked, or 160,000 signatures as of the last time I checked, and it only takes 100,000 to get a response from the White House. So they've actually already met that goal. In fact, I'm one of the people that signed that. I went through the fucking bullshit. Oh yeah, no, Russia's definitely getting tired of feminists and their bullshit. Wow, Malcolm, I'm sorry to fucking hear that. That fucking sucks. And you see, that's another thing. Hey, how's it going, Mexican? What's up? But oh, I was Legend. I really hope that's true. I would love for Trump to freeze all sources assets, because the thing is at that point we would definitely fucking see exactly how many Antifa actually believe in the shit and how many of them are there for a fucking goddamn paycheck. Um, but when it comes to uh, when it comes to going ahead and freezing assets, at the same time, that kind of sends a chill down my spine, to be honest, because don't get me wrong, I think Soros's assets need to be um, frozen. But the thing is that's also good news for us, because in all honesty, for someone to effectively freeze and for a government to freeze an individual's assets, or at least our government to freeze an individual's assets, that person has to be related to some sort of terrorist organization or something that is grinding the government the wrong way, especially when it's someone as powerful as Soros. So the thing is if that's the case, well, we already know that Soros has been funding Antifa riots. I mean, you got the Craigslist entries and all that sort of thing. Then you had the group of Antifa saying that Soros needs to pay up. That was fucking funny. I mean, at that point, it's all like, dude, you guys just right there confirmed it. It's like, you dumbasses. It's all like, you really expect people to take you fucking seriously if they know that you're just there for a fucking paycheck? Oh, hell no. There's one thing that people despise more than a fucking KKK member, and that's a fucking mercenary. I can't really say much about it because I have kind of a mercenary mentality. It's all like, all right, you want me to do this for you? How much are you paying me? Or how are you going to make it worth my while? I very much so have a mercenary mentality. But that's because, well, I mean, take a look at the financial situation that I've come from. I've come from a financial situation that dictates me not necessarily wasting my time. Like, the only reason why I'm able to do these broadcasts is because of the pure and simple fact that right now I'm taking care of my dad full time. But the thing is that means I have to be at the house. It doesn't mean I have to be sitting next to him the whole fucking time. Oh yeah, Soros does have a lot of politicians on payroll. I don't doubt that. All right, I will pay attention in the next 60 days, Legend. Thank you for the heads up. Legend says, an anonymous leaker in the CIA confirmed the other day these issues are confirmed internal, and I'm assuming you meant internally, through the CIA and backing the Black Lives Matter group, KKK, Antifa, etc. He said, pay attention to the next 60 days. So, all right, I will. But I always pay attention. Very rarely do I miss something. But, I mean, I need my content for my fucking channel, and I figure talking about shit that's actually relevant does a lot more than harping on the same point over and over and over again. But, oh, God. Well, the thing is Legend, I actually tend to trust the Veritas channel because there's very little that they've brought out that has been disproven. I mean, the vast majority of it has either been swept under the rug or has been proven absolutely true through action. And I just want to go ahead and ask everyone, if I was to become active on Twitter again, like if I was to go ahead and link my Twitter account to my channel, which it actually technically already is, but if I was to start becoming active on Twitter again, would you guys be interested in that, or do you guys just basically use it to shitpost and you know, point and laugh at the dum-dums? Because honestly, at this point, I really don't think that Twitter is a platform for a real discussion. You know, I mean, with the way that they selectively enforce their rules. I mean, I still remember the fucking the fucking Milo situation and everything that went down with that. Oh, I'm pretty sure that they would ban me. Like, in all honesty, if I became active on Twitter again, because the thing is I used to be exceedingly active on Twitter, but I stopped using Twitter once I saw that they started targeting people. But the thing is like, so I haven't been active that long. So I think that's probably the only reason why I haven't been banned yet. I fully expect things to get worse. But the thing is at this point, it's all like, it can only get so much worse. But I mean, as far as it's concerned, like, obviously I'm not afraid of getting banned. I mean, just look at the content on my YouTube channel. Obviously I'm not afraid to fucking speak my mind. It's just, it's also hard to articulate anything in a 140 character tweet, you know? I tend to use more links and all that sort of thing, and I tend to use GIFs to really get things across. I tend to meme it up to get my points across, because I don't like sitting there and typing out a fucking novel in 140 character chunks. Not to mention, then people start responding to the individual tweets instead of waiting to see that the tweets are actually done, that the whole idea has been out there and that sort of thing. And then they'll sit there and retweet one tweet and say, oh, this was the whole argument. And then you get people jumping on you, and it's just a fucking thing. But I'm actually thinking about going ahead and like future scheduling my streams, like going ahead and giving people a couple hours of notice, so that way like right now, perfect example, like everyone's really just gathered recently on this stream. I had been talking for quite a while beforehand. I'm going to say probably at least 30 minutes, if not longer. And I know that some people miss some stuff because people don't go through and watch the part of the stream that they missed later on. So I'm thinking about doing that, and maybe I can go ahead and send out notifications on Twitter, letting people know on there, just in case YouTube sits there and says, oh yeah, we're just not going to notify anyone that this is going to be a thing. By the way, anyone who wants to get actual updates from me, I've been hearing from some people that subscribe to me that they weren't getting any of my like any of the content that I was releasing, or when I went live on a stream or anything like that, that I wasn't popping up in their notifications. The way that you combat that is you actually can go ahead and next to the subscribe button, you can hit the bell, and that'll notify you anytime I'm doing anything on YouTube. So I highly recommend it if you're actually interested in taking part in the streams, or if you want to know when a new streams come out, if you want to actually keep up with what I'm doing. I know I release a fair amount of content, not the most content out there, but I'm also one person. I have to eat, I have to sleep, I have to jerk off, you know, all that sort of shit. So, so if you're actually interested in knowing when I'm doing something on YouTube, definitely hit that notification bell, so that way you'll be informed, even if YouTube tries to fucking block me from getting information out there. Also, another thing to everyone that's watching, watch your subscription box. Like me, they actually unsubscribed me from a couple of MGTOW channels. The most prominent of which was Raging Golden Eagle. They actually unsubscribed me. And so I had to resubscribe again. So keep an eye out on that, because even if you're subscribed to me, they might sit there and just unsubscribe you without notice. I've had a couple people say that that's happened with them with my channel in personal messages. So do keep an eye out on that. YouTube's really starting to use low blows and dirty tactics, so do keep that in mind. Yeah, I'm thinking I might go ahead and do that as well, Legend. Because quite frankly, I don't like inviting people in through the live chat system, and Google Hangouts sucks ass for inviting people. Like, it's gotten to the point where the people that I invite in, eh. But also, just to let everyone know, I have actually started up my BitChute, and so it is actually officially ripping videos off of YouTube. It won't have any of my older videos yet. I might go ahead and take the time to go ahead, download the videos from YouTube, and then upload them up to there on my channel on there. But if you want to go ahead and see my shit on there, like if something happens to my channel here, I will start going ahead and doing live streams on there. I'm also looking at going ahead and getting myself up onto several other platforms. The reason why I started out with BitChute is because it automatically rips my videos. So, but so that's a thing. Just wanted to let everyone know. In fact, I'll probably go ahead and give my link to my BitChute account down in my descriptions, or I might go ahead and if I can put it in my about page if I'm allowed to do that. Um, I'll also put it onto my Twitter as well if I go ahead and decide to start becoming active on Twitter again. But yeah, yeah, it is crazy that it even has to be this way. Battle, it really is, and it really fucking sucks. I absolutely hate the fact that we're so that we as a society are so afraid of words now that we feel like we have to destroy it like the monster in the closet, when you're a kid, you know. Uh and it saddens me really that we've gotten this weak. But I'm just going to be honest right now. I think that the real solution to this is decentralizing media. Um, that's one of the other reasons why I'm going to BitChute is because it's completely decentralized. So no single government can take it down or anything like that. The most they can do is try to block it, but good luck because it's a peer-to-peer system. And so the thing is at this point, I think stuff like BitChute is probably going to be the way to go because, like I said before, people have sat there and suggested that I go to VidMe or Vimeo or one of these other sites. Actually, they're incorporating blockchain as we speak right now, Battle. Um, and that's another reason why I'm going to BitChute because once they go ahead and get the blockchain in there, then like if you guys are subscribed to me on there and you end up wanting to help me out, if you like the stuff that I do, if you like the talks, then you can go ahead and donate through Bitcoin. At which point, I'm not going to get hit hard by like YouTube taking a large cut of my shit or people going through and trying to claim my videos and that sort of thing. Um, Oh yeah, I agree wholeheartedly with you, Battle. The blockchain is definitely the key to defeating places like Google, Facebook, and all of that. And the thing is it's kind of funny, you know, it's all like we call the regressive left for a reason. Well, figure it this way. A few years ago, what was the biggest fucking thing that people did on the internet? BitTorrents. BitTorrents all around. That's how they got a vast majority of their fucking media. Why? Because it was decentralized. Because it was peer to peer. But the thing is with the BitTorrents, you know, you had to be kind of savvy, right? Or else you were going to get yourself a virus. Oh, yeah, Terror Battle. That's another thing. The dark web. They are pushing people to the dark web. If you guys know of anything on the dark web where they host stuff like this, please go ahead and let me know. I'll start putting my shit there too. I got no problem. Like if they have, you know, something kind of akin to, you know, www.hateboner.com or something like that. Like honestly, I really want to see if that's a thing, and that would be fucking amazing if I could go ahead and get that. Like if I had the money to do it, I would so fucking start up a website called that. But you know, it's all like I could see something like that already existing on the dark web. Of course, I might not want to be associated with that because the dark web is dark. Oh yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Legend, and also Legend. Thanks for the help that you're giving me. I'm gonna have to go ahead and get together with you on a private call and us see what we can do about the other situation, but then also talk about getting you on here so you can go ahead and talk. I mean, unless you want to get in right now, I would be more than happy to have you on right now in this stream if you're up for it. Well, the thing is bit technology is definitely the way of the future. Battle. Because the thing is people are getting so sick and tired of the government or one major corporation being able to come in and tell you what you can and cannot. Well, Legend, if you want to come on to the stream, you can go ahead and come onto the stream. Let people know. I'll be more than happy to have you on the stream right now, man. I'll let you hijack it. Hey, Warrior, what's up? But yeah, it's definitely a thing where now people are looking for that decentralized aspect, and I think that it's funny right now that the government and by extension shit like Google and all that are so afraid of shit like Bitcoin and all of its variants, as well as stuff like BitChute. They're all right. Fair enough, Legend. Fair enough. Go ahead and get with me, and we'll figure out, you know, something. Like we can go ahead and have it later. Like once your neighbors have put their hellspawn to bed. Um, but the funniest thing is oh, Malcolm, they're not going after MGTOW in particular because the thing is more and more people in MGTOW are now starting to hold our own to a certain standard, which when people go ahead and go to look at MGTOW now, MGTOW doesn't have the negative stigma that it used to. Well, fuck. If it's never, then come on, legend, get on in here. If it's gonna happen no matter what, no time like the present, right? But the thing is we're seeing a lot of people starting to crave unfettered information yet again. Because as people are going out and seeing these dissident voices right before they're silenced, they're now hungering for more. It's kind of a curiosity thing. And it's also, I think that these companies are starting to catch on that they have been causing and fueling the Streisand effect. There we go. All right, it should be there, but they're starting to figure out that the Streisand effect has really caused some major growth in MGTOW and other movements that are somewhat similar to MGTOW. Oh yeah, no, seriously. The thing is the dank memes. It's kind of like oh, what was it? There was a movie, and I cannot remember the name of it. I don't think I actually fully watched the movie, but I got the general gist of it. There was this pill that they developed that allows the full unlocking of the potential of the human mind. But the catch is if you don't take it every so often, you will instantly die. And the dank memes are kind of like that. It's like once you've had one, now all of a sudden you know you can only go for so long without consuming more. So, Legend, did you get the link in the Hangouts thing? Or am I posted it in the live chat? Oh, yeah, they want to censor MGTOW more than porno because MGTOW is much more damaging because with porno, they can just sit there and say, oh, well, you're a pervert. As far as MGTOW is concerned, it's all like, oh, shit. We can't sit there and call these guys misogynists anymore because it doesn't fucking work. And the more we try to silence them, the more their voices get out there. I think you might be right, love. I think it might be limitless. But yeah, it's a thing. All right, 1 second. Let me go ahead and start up Discord really quick. But yeah, just to let you know, right now I have the screen minimized, guys. I'm looking for my Discord so I can start up, so I can send him, so I can send Legend an invite in the Discord link. There we go. Just gotta wait for it to log me in. But anywho, when it comes down to when it comes down to them trying to get rid of MGTOW, it's not gonna fucking happen. If they want to get rid of MGTOW, I have the guide to do so here on my channel. Go ahead and send them here. But the thing is I know that they're not going to be able to accomplish it. So by all means, send them here. Show them that it's pointless. Because for them to get rid of MGTOW, they're going to have to actually start treating men like humans again. All right, there you go. I sent it to you, Legend. But yeah, no, it's very difficult to get rid of a philosophy. Like, take for example, we tried to get rid of Marxism. We tried to get rid of communism. We tried to get rid of all that shit to no avail. Um, it every philosophy will come back like a fucking bad rash. But the fact of the matter is, um, like I've said in the past, MGTOW is kind of a just a natural course of things. It's all like when you try to get rid of femininity, I would say that feminism would probably be I would probably say that they tend to be how do I put this? Like feminism would be the natural course if we tried to get rid of femininity. MGTOW is the natural course when you try to get rid of masculinity. And the thing is it's funny that MGTOW, the idea of MGTOW, while the name might be new, the idea is as old as time. Oh yeah, battle. And I've covered that before. It's all like the only reason why feminism is even still around is because it keeps co-opting other things. No, MGTOW isn't feminism. There are some MGTOWs that definitely mimic the actions of feminists. Not going to say who, but the vast majority of MGTOWs are just all like, look, let me do my own thing. You can go off and fuck off into that corner. I'll go off and fuck off into this corner. When you want to play nice, come and let me know, and we'll talk about it. But don't expect anything to happen quick. You can't solve decades upon decades upon decades of problems, or should I say even centuries. You know, you can't solve centuries worth of problems in a 5-minute discussion. It's not gonna fucking happen. I mean, if you were able to fucking do that, where in the fuck have you been for all throughout humanity? But the reason is because you cannot convince a massive group of people all at once. It won't fucking happen. It's something that happens over time. And for some odd reason, Legend isn't in yet, even though I sent him the invite in the Discord chat. Anywho, and the thing is yes, MGTOW does have a process, but right now we're still in the beginning parts of said process. For one, we actually have to get men to actually be men again. And I think that that's going to be the biggest uphill battle. Because the thing is like it was said earlier in the stream, there's been so much feminization of men that it's going to take a while to correct that fucking damage, to actually get men to do it, to actually start acting like men again. I'm trying my damnedest to get Legend in here, guys. I am. And that's very true. And that's the thing. We actually have to get some real men into political positions of power. And that's the reason why the left is so terrified of people like Donald Trump. Because the thing is he's not afraid to actually show masculine elements and show that it's actually okay to be masculine, that you can and you more than likely will be successful when it comes to being masculine. That's one of the defining factors of masculinity. I mean, you tend to be successful because you tend to be driven. You tend to be willing to do the hard things. You're not just going to be one of those people that just, I guess, will roll over and die. Let's see now. Yeah, but here's the thing, Mascule. The thing is, yeah, all males voted for the 19th Amendment. But the fact of the matter is take a look at what the consequences would have been if they hadn't. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that it was smart on their part, but actually they've gotten to the point now where feminists can have their own little fucking clubs, Mascule, but male only clubs aren't really allowed. And that's one of the hypocrisies that I address on my channel every once in a while. But the fact of the matter is at this point we're looking at a major fucking issue, because we've gotten to the point now where men are just starting to sit there and look at women and go, yeah, I'd rather go ahead and put my nuts into a vice. It'll cause less damage.
No shit.
Hey, what's up, man? Welcome to the stream.
What's up? Sorry, I was having some issues.
It's all good. It's all good. I was wondering where you were. I'm all like, I know that link's the right link. I even double checked it. And anyone who's done an invite to a Google Hangout will know that those codes are bullshit. It's all like, holy fuck, did you just like run this thing through a hexadecimal calculator? Is that what happened? Fuck.
Well, sometimes they do break.
Yeah, sometimes they do. But I figured you would have messaged me if I had. Let me go ahead and shut down my Discord now, because I'm getting pop-ups like a motherfucker because I'm part of like 9 different Discord channels.
Yeah. Oh, how's that worked out so far since I got you in?
Oh, I haven't really been in the Discord all that much lately. But it's because I've had some other things that I've had to do in life. You know,
I just asked you a question.
Sucks.
You don't have to explain yourself.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying adulting sucks.
Yeah.
And yes, I do actually want to turn the word adulting into a legitimate word. I really do. Because then it's just one more thing I can use against the left.
Why not just say grow the fuck up?
Oh, because it's long-winded and adulting. Adulting, like if you sit there and you look at someone and you say you're adulting wrong, it just feels a lot more condescending because of the absurdity of the word itself.
I like that. That's pretty cool.
Like I said, I have no problems using my enemy's weapons against them.
Yeah.
In fact, I quite enjoy it. Gives me a little bit of fucking hate chubby.
I try to avoid the hate. You know, I want to take care of myself. I like my blood pressure low.
But anywho, do you want to go ahead and talk about the site while you're here?
Sure.
All right.
I haven't
I'm
posted on Twitter or anything. I haven't put on Twitter or anything like that for like the new stats, other than DMing a few people. Pretty freaking excited. We're not public. We're up less than a month, and we just hit 70,000 hits.
Nice.
For the website. Yeah. So guys, don't forget. We're intending to be a website as tools and resources. So when you get fucked, send your brother over to us.
Right.
So we can help minimize the damage, you know, get them back on track with the least amount of anguish, especially if they're contemplating the inevitable of suicide.
Yeah.
It's an inevitable thought that you're going to run into.
Even I ran into it
with family court and all that bullshit. I was a lucky. Yeah. So we want to minimize that. Anybody that can contribute.
One time I actually had a gun in my mouth, with it cocked back, loaded. I was on my own, so it wasn't a cry for attention or anything. But then I managed to snap out of it and go, wait a minute, whoa. Why do I want to make them happy?
Yeah.
That's the only thing that saved me was my vindictiveness. Me surviving was my way of being vindictive. Who says hate doesn't do good things?
You guys have heard how MGTOW doesn't help family law reform, right?
Well, yeah, I've heard that all over the place. By the way, can you go ahead and send me the link in this chat so I can go ahead and update the description and throw the link into my description on this video?
Oh, yeah, man.
Just while I'm at it. Because the thing is, I had the link saved before, but I cannot find the file where it's at. I think it might have got caught up in my last purge. Well, because I'm constantly running out of space. Like, porn takes up a lot of space, and, it's just like... So I have to purge every once in a while, and then refresh the stocks. But every once in a while, a wrong file will get caught up in it. Okay. But the thing is another reason why I think a lot of people think that MGTOW don't affect any changes is because people don't realize how far spread MGTOW is. It's still kind of one of those groups that people look at and, they'll see one here, they'll see one there. But it's kind of like with when we first came to America, when our ancestors first came to America, they didn't think that there were that many Indians here. And then all of a sudden, you see them all come out of the woodwork all at once, and it's the most terrifying thing you ever fucking seen. Because you're all like, dude, we had problems with 5 of these fucking people, and now we've got thousands. oh, fuck. I think it's that kind of situation going on with MGTOW right now. Just a lot of us are still hiding in the woods. Just watching how things go down. It's all like, do we want to eat them alive? Or do we want to just... Actually, if you really look into feminism, feminism was actually started by a single man-hating lesbian. And then the idea just spread out, you know, women that were pissed off at their husband, whatever, whatnot. Oh, I lost legend here. Whoops.
Yeah, I went over to the website and it booted me. But I'll give you a couple of links for
right, cool.
direct portals. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, anyway, what I was getting into is lots of people like to moan and bitch saying that MGTOW aren't for family reform. That's all MRAs. Guess what? I say you're a coward.
You know, it's one of those things where it's all like, people think that you have to either exclusively be an MRA or exclusively be a MGTOW. It's all like, what? No. That is not how this fucking works. That in no way is that how this works.
What about MHRA and rights activists?
Fair enough.
Right?
Fair enough. But you know,
anyway,
just...
this is to my knowledge, this is the first MGTOW powered family law reform site. My team is exclusively MGTOW.
And I am actually going ahead and putting these all in right now in the descriptor. So if anyone wants to go ahead and go check it out and that sort of thing, is there any way that they can go ahead and support the site and all that sort of thing right now?
Yeah, I didn't double check, but there was a donut. We're not cops. Donate link that we'd be very grateful for any additional support. That would definitely help out a lot. But yeah, we're doing a lot of things. We've tested traffic, and obviously, as you see the layout, articles bring the most traffic. It's a great tool to use, and then the tools are there at your fingertips. We're always expanding. We're always looking for better and more efficient ideas, concepts, tools, articles. There's a lot of cool law shit going on. Like, did you guys hear about California and the audit?
Which one?
There was the first
I've heard positive and negative.
Yeah, there's the first judicial audit in California. It's the first time it's been done in 56 years. And now you've heard of Howell versus Howell, that case, right?
Oh, yeah.
Pertaining to the military veterans benefits being siphoned. Okay. Yeah. Howell is acting on behalf of the state against the state, where the internal, if I understand it correctly, the internal judiciary committee is saying, we don't need an audit. You don't need to look at all this information.
Yeah.
So now they're going to battle. And this is this is fantastic. This is excellent news.
Well, and here's the thing. For anyone who doesn't live in California or isn't familiar with the politics in California, which if you're on my fucking channel, you probably know at least the basics of it. The politics in California have been corrupt for such a long time in such a large way. There's a reason why we are in so much of a financial deficit at this point. And it's absolutely fucking ridiculous. As someone who lives in California, I'm sitting here going, why in the fuck do these motherfuckers keep getting into fucking office when all they're doing is driving up our debt?
Did you see my Twitter that I posted? I think it was yesterday or the day before.
No, I haven't been on
Um,
Twitter in a while.
oh, you should. You should go do it right now. It's freaking hilarious. It would be even better. It would be even more funny with you describing the tweet than me.
Okay, let me go ahead and pull
Just
up
go on
Twitter.
there and look for the icon that I included with the link. So the picture is a white one with what's his name? Fuck. It says "piss on family law reform" or "piss on family courts." It's
Uh-oh.
black and white.
All
Someone
right.
popped up a judicial review site for the judges over in Iowa. Sorry, Ohio. I am getting so tongue tied.
Yeah, I'm installing Twitter right now on my phone, so I can keep an eye on the chat while I'm going ahead and doing this and all that sort of thing. Jesus Christ. I've got so many things open on my computer right now. I'm all like, oh, baby, please don't crash on me. No, this poor computer, like, I put it through so much shit. And it's been such a good computer for so fucking long. Like right now, I'm getting ready to turn 32.
Right.
I've had this computer since I was 20.
We've all been there, man.
And I'm like, oh, fuck. I'm all like, God damn, this computer's older than my daughter.
Yeah. Oh, if anybody's looking for me on Twitter, it's @GuyServing.
@GuyServing?
Yeah. You should easily be able to just type in legend and I'll pop up, you know. I'm looking for it right now so I can send it to you.
God,
I had to retweet this one from Dire Wolf. The claim that he did a poll and #feminism. The claim that sex is a spectrum is only proof that intelligence is a spectrum and that the one making the claim is very low on it. Agree, disagree, my answer is non-binary. And so the current stats, he's only got 116 votes on it. He's got 6 days and 6 hours left. And he's got 66% agree, 7% disagree, and 27 were smartasses saying my answer is non-binary.
So all you add those to agree.
Right.
Basically.
Yeah. Have you spoken with
and that's
Porpoiseful
Dire
yet?
Wolf 20?
Let me double check. It's Dire Wolf.
Oh, okay. I was like, I didn't think Dire Wolf 20 got involved in fucking political shit.
Yeah, this is his Twitter is Dire Wolf Media.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And what was your Twitter again?
@GuyServing. You just capitalize G.
All right, got it.
And there's
and
no space.
I'm going to go ahead and follow you. So, about how long ago was it?
Oh, I got it.
Okay. Mine is Ryu Night 1985.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. So original, right?
I'm sending you the link right now in the Hangout.
All right.
Hey, everybody should stop by and like our Facebook page too. Family Systems Tech. There's actually a new person that's come up. Like
So
on Facebook.
did you send it to me in a DM?
It was in the Hangout. Tell me if you got it.
Let's see. Nope.
Okay. Let me go over to notifications. Is Nunya?
Yep, that's me.
Okay. All right, check your Twitter DM.
All right, there we go. All right.
Yeah. I guess I'll go over and get the Facebook thing too.
All right, so so it's who's down for show and tell? Then he's got a link, and it's the kid with the kind of "fuck you, what are you gonna do about it" look on his face that pisses on shit, and he's pissing on family courts.
Yeah.
Oh fuck yes!
I freaking love it.
Oh god, that's fucking amazing. I love shit like that. 1 second. Twitter.
Oh, did you see? I just saw a new post by MGTOW. Freaking fantastic. I'm just gonna send you that.
Okay.
It's via our Facebook page at the moment. I gotta talk to my team. I'd like to see that on the website also.
Just so everyone can see it. I now have it up and running. Oh, whoops. I can't do that. All right, apparently. Anywho, yeah, so yeah, anyone who's interested in this sort of thing, definitely go ahead and follow Legend MGTOW. Because yeah. Yeah.
Because reasons, right?
Well, because the thing is I'm sure you're going to keep more up to date with the stuff. Like with me, it's going to be more of a check-in type of thing, see how it's coming along and all that sort of thing, and continue to promote it.
Yeah, man. Everybody's welcome and totally invited to participate in any way that they feel they'd like to. You know, whether it's donations or referral links, different groups that might be good advocates, politicians that you know are actually solid, like constitutional, libertarian. You know, people that we can actually count on, like you expect to be able to count on your brother.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, in my area, we don't have any politicians like that. The only reason why they haven't kind of run a complete and total muck is because the people around here are more than willing to gather together and tell them to fuck off.
Yeah. Some of you guys can check out.
That's one thing about being where I'm at. The conservatives around here are definitely not quiet.
That's excellent. Anybody interested in court watching?
This is in California, motherfuckers.
Yep. And there are some over there. Not your right. Look up the hashtag not your right.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. There's a bunch of court watchers out there. You can get their shirts, contact them, whatever. Even if you don't want to get involved, but you want to help out your brother, some random day, go to your local courthouse and just be there to help show some solidarity with your brothers.
Yeah. Like we actually had one group. I'm still trying to get a hold of the guy that I met before, because I was actually down there, funnily enough, about child support stuff. But him and another group were there, and they were. It was a bunch of pissed off dads, you know, that had been denied access to their children for no reason
whatsoever.
The
current standard, man.
And so they were sitting there, they were fucking pissed off. So I had arrived early. You know, the courthouse wasn't open yet because my thing was first thing in the morning. But I arrived there early and I started talking with them about it. And the thing is, the odd thing was none of them had ever heard of MGTOW before. None of them had even heard of it.
Yeah, it's how a lot of people get in. It'll go back and forth between like MRA going to MGTOW and people getting hit with the whole divorce and custody bullshit, and then going to MGTOW, where they're going to go to MRA or MHRA. It doesn't matter. We're all men.
Well, we all have the same end goal. Like, let's be fucking honest.
Yeah.
It's all like, we just want men to actually be treated fairly. I mean, is that really so much to ask?
Was it so much to ask for the Negro slaves to ask for their freedom?
Well, if you go ahead and ask the Democrats, yes.
Exactly. That's
And I
why
think it's
I
funny
say if
now.
you're
Now
a lib,
Democrats are the ones fighting against
yeah,
the rights of men.
yeah, that's what they want.
Democrats are very much so pro-slavery. I mean, if you actually look at Democratic history, the Democrats have always been on the side of slavery.
Right. We're not a democracy.
Well,
I
I'm
invite
saying
everybody to go
Democratic
look it up.
history. I'm
Well,
talking
no, I
about
know,
Democratic history.
I know.
I'm not saying that we're a democracy. We're a democratic republic.
We're a republic.
Yeah.
Yes.
But the
There's a
thing
huge
is,
difference. A lot of people are led by the nose, thinking democracy stands for freedom when it's the exact opposite.
yeah, the thing is let's just say this, people. If you are for democracy, you are for mob rule, because that's what actual democracy is. That's what a full-fledged democracy is it's mob rule. So that means 51% of the population gets to dictate how everything goes. So 51% of the population says that the other 49% of the population doesn't have the right to land, to freedom to spend their money how they are, or even a right to earn a living in a democracy. Then that 49%, guess what, are effectively slaves through their quote-unquote legal system. That's how a democracy works. You want to see how a democracy works? Look at Antifa. Boom. Done. That right there is what democracy is. See, we are a democratic republic. It's kind of a unique fusion of the two. It keeps the power out of the hands of the majority when it comes to moral issues. It brings it to where there are some people there that can sit there and go, no, we're not going to sit there and say that all men have to have their penis cut off. That's not okay, ladies. Sorry. It allows for a voice of reason to be there. That's the reason why our government has so many checks and balances, is to prevent that type of bullshit. Because if we lived in a democracy, then when Obama was in, he would have been completely capable of literally tearing up the Constitution. There would have been nothing to stop him.
Yeah.
All he would have had to have done
want,
was got 51% of the vote.
You guys want a current up-and-coming media personality?
Yeah, sure.
All right. I don't know her personally. I just came across her, and I haven't vetted her, but I did have one person check her out, and apparently she's clean. She's not corrupt, but it is a little fishy. She says that she's like ex-FBI or whatever. So I'll send you the link, and you can put it in there if you want. She does her stuff currently on Facebook, to my understanding, and she put up like this big bulletin, billboard sign: "Stop being punished for protecting. Join the revolution." And it's Oh, she's got a website too. Okay, www.punishedforbeingaaparent.com. And she's got a show going on right now called Judge the Judges. She's asking for a shitload of stories, and publicizing is one of the best ways to confront, to actually create a change like we've been seeing in the laws.
Yep.
Them in public. That's a whole lot more effective. Unfortunately, it's more effective than petitioning or going to a legislator, because you have all those hoops.
Yeah.
Instead, when you go to the public and you're able to speak loud enough, then you're able to get a societal change initiated.
Well, and that's also a sign of something that we're going through. Whenever you get to the situation where you have to take information directly to the people, because the government is proving ineffective, that's the sign of a failed government right there.
Well, exactly. We all know that
And
how
we
much of
know
a joke the mainstream
everyone.
media is.
It doesn't matter if you're on the left or you're on the right or if you're directly in the middle. Everyone's looking at our government going, you fail.
Yeah.
So like that's the only thing you do right is you fail. And you do it with gusto. And it's absolute bullshit. But the reason why our government fails is because, honestly, I think it actually comes down to one big thing. We started seeing the massive influx of issues as soon as they legalized bribery.
Say that again.
We started seeing the massive influx of issues as soon as they legalized bribery. And that's what they did. Saying, oh, it's not bribes, it's contributions. That's the reason why I hate manipulation of language. We have the word bribery there for a reason. It describes a very specific thing. So what did they do? They said, oh, well, this isn't this word, it's this word. And all of a sudden, they get off scot-free. And that's another reason why I'm one of those people. I'm like, you know what? Going to the letter of the law is ridiculous in my opinion. Like anyone who follows the letter of the law, well, for one, at that point, you're not lawfully living. Because the thing is if you go by the letter of the law, look in any county, in any state, in any country, you following the law means that you have to break other laws. Period. End of story. There is no way that you can be a 100% law-abiding citizen anywhere in the Western world. They have actually managed to find a way to criminalize all of us if they see fit.
Is Malcolm Lewis on Twitter? Malcolm 83461279, one of your guys.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't really been on Twitter all that much.
Well, if he is, hey, thanks, Malcolm, for following. That's pretty cool of you, man.
But the reason why I say following the letter of the law, because the way that some of these laws are worded, it actually gives immunity to certain people based off of this identifier or that identifier. But the thing is there's this thing called following the letter of the law versus following the spirit of the law. I think we need to follow the spirit of the law as opposed to the letter of the law.
Well, to me, I think that's common sense, and it's been proven over history.
Yeah, but common sense isn't so common anymore.
I know, right? And like for anybody that's done
academia is nuts. Battle. Academia is nuts.
Anybody that's a religious scholar, they've done their religious studies, you know about the difference between the Christians and the Pharisees, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the big difference right there in following the spirit of the law versus the letter of the law. Because when you follow the letter of the law, so broad and open to interpretation, because we're very flawed anyway. People take advantage. It's kind of because people are greedy.
And that's just kind of a part of
where you end up with a whole bunch of corruption. I didn't hear it.
Oh, I said that's just part of us as living creatures. I mean, every living creature has some level of greed.
But that's also another reason why the saying plan for the worst and hope for the best
Yep.
holds so much weight. It's
Yep.
true.
We'll figure it this way. If you plan for
Spec-
the worst, then that means that you were prepared as far as resources are concerned. So if the best happened, you didn't have to use those extra resources. So now you have those extra resources to allocate elsewhere.
You're ahead. Yep.
Exactly.
Like
Worst
in
case
budgeting,
scenario,
you create a buffer for yourself.
Scenario, you're way far ahead and ready for the next worst case scenario that comes your way.
Yeah. And MGTOW essentially says the same thing.
Yep.
You know, by you going your own way, you're being woke. You're essentially a truther. Yep. You're seeking knowledge, in a philosopher and a scientist, and all these academic methods, you know, descriptions. The whole premise is you're opening your eyes to be objective, to have the best picture of what's going on around you, whether you agree with the situation or not. Understanding your scenario, the world that you live in, is very important.
Well, it allows you to
you can make appropriate decisions to safeguard yourself. Mm-hmm. So there's your buffer right there.
Well, like with one thing, I'll use this as an example. Like with me, when I sit there and I think I actually talked about this in one of my talks, but I was sitting there and saying that going out there and peacocking is one of the worst ideas imaginable, because I mean, at this point, everyone's vying for resources. And if you're sitting there showing that you have a whole fuck ton of resources, you're going to get attention from both positive and negative sources, but mostly negative sources. It's all like, if you have those resources, maybe don't flaunt them. But then also at the same time, it's all like, at the same time, make sure you don't build up an overmass of resources, because even if you don't flaunt them, someone's going to find out about it, and now you've got a giant bullseye on your chest. I mean, yeah, live comfortably, but don't sit there and go full try hard on life. You know, that's all I'm saying.
You could say that in another way, like, is it wise to go ahead and flash $1,000 in front of public?
Right?
You
it's
know,
all like,
it's all like, are you going to be walking or something down, like that, right?
I look at it this way. Are you going to go ahead and walk down a dark alley in a bad neighborhood while sitting there and carrying an open briefcase full of $100 bills?
Yeah,
no, you're not.
It. And only a fool speaks out of idiocy, you know, just talks to talk rather than the other way around. I forget exactly how the saying goes.
They sit there and talk.
You know, yeah.
They sit there and talk without a point, whereas someone who isn't a fool lets the point speak for itself.
Yeah. Be wary and fearful of the quiet ones.
We just heard a few brains fry.
We're a bit more wise, right?
we just heard a few brains fry right there.
Yeah. We just destroyed some of the MGTOW.
Right? but that's another reason why it's all like, I'll retouch on some subjects because they bear retouching on. The issue hasn't been resolved yet. And it's all like, yeah, no, the issue's still here. Here's your public service announcement reminder. But then I move on to another subject.
Yeah.
I intertie my subjects, don't get me wrong. But I try to talk on different subjects, and I try to keep it topical. Look at Mascule's response in the chat.
I'm not reading right now.
He did the drooling the drooling blank face in the chat. Yeah, that's awesome.
Did you hear about Mex? I guess he was going to close down his channel, and then he just put up another couple.
Yeah.
And they're very interesting videos.
Yeah, I haven't watched his latest videos yet. Like I said, I've had some shit going on. But
he put up 2 today. They're very short. I'm like, yeah. Holy shit!
But I was like when I saw that, you know, the I'm leaving YouTube thing. I'm like, wait, what the fuck? That's kind of out of nowhere. You know. I'm all
I
like, if
don't
he wants
know.
to
I'm
leave,
not
I'm not
gonna.
gonna stop him, but you know, at the same time, it's all like, dude, what the fuck? I mean, you had a
I'm
thing
not gonna
going.
hypothesize because I don't know the situation. But I support him. He's a good guy.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
You know. Um, we're all at different stages.
I just figured it was him getting some YouTube burnout.
It's very possible. I know he was getting some stress from some people, some individuals, that was
Well, also at the
completely
same time,
unnecessary.
he dives head first into those situations. Like Max, if you're watching this after the fact, I love you, bro. I do. But it's all like he dives head first
He
into
was in
some
the
of this
chat
shit.
earlier before
Yeah,
I
I know,
came
I know,
into
I
the
know, I know.
hangout.
Yeah, he stopped by to say hi and then bounced out.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, and I know he's not going to take this personally. I just want to make absolutely certain because I know
he's not stupid.
sometimes,
He's not going to take it personally.
yeah. But I mean, he jumps into it, so it's all like it's kind of like me, like when I sit there and I bring someone on that I know is going to give me a rough time.
Mm-hmm.
I do that from time to time, but the reason why I do that is because I want all the different sides. But the thing is that is a stressful thing, and a lot of people don't realize how stressful that is until they're in the thick of it, and then it's too late because
Yeah.
now you're in this room now, and there's no exits.
Well, you put yourself into that position.
Yeah, but the thing is it's one of those things of, you know, YouTube burnout is definitely a major thing. Like with any YouTube channel, it doesn't matter. Like even like gaming channels where they play games for a living and all that, people are like, oh, they're living the dream. You really think there's no stress there? Come the fuck on. Because now you have to play the games. And anyone knows that if you get to the point where you have to do something, no matter how much you enjoyed it before, it's going to get old real quick. And all of a sudden, you're not going to want to do it anymore.
Well, that's why I personally encourage people to follow their passions, and that is in line with going your own way.
Yeah. It's all like, yeah, follow your passions, but also at the same time, I'm one of those people, I always have a caveat to that, and I have to bring it up now. It's all like, follow your passions, but make sure that your passions are realistic.
Well, yeah.
You know, like if you're sitting there, you know, let's say you really love making stuff out of wood, but every time you try to work with it, you lose a digit. Maybe don't make that a profession. Just saying.
Maybe learn from your mistakes before you go slice another digit off.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
Consider other
you know?
alternatives. Yeah.
Like
Don't go into things foolishly. You know,
like
just
me,
an idiot does that.
If I had gone with my passion, I probably would have gone into being a doctor. I am so glad I didn't. Like, truly, I am glad that I did not do it. Because of the pure and simple fact that I went through the schooling for nursing, and I started going through there, and I saw just what nurses alone deal with. And I was all like, yeah, fuck this noise. Right? And this was after me going a vast majority of the way through. But the thing is it's all like, sometimes your passion does not line up with the career path that is actually there.
Correct. A lot of us have been misled the information, even when hungrily seeking after it, like I did when I was in the medical field. I aced all my classes, all my labs. I had a recommendation from one of the top field surgeons in Oregon and Washington to go for a doctorate. And I'm like, dude, I love the appreciation and the proposition. But after what I've learned and what I've gone through, there's no way in hell. I'm serious. At that time, I was seriously even considering even staying in the medical field because I was learning more and more about vaccinations, and
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm one of those people. It's all like, I don't deny that there are some downsides to vaccinations.
I'm all about naturopathic medicine because I
it-
actually do my research and I'll quantify it and quiz the fuck out of these doctors.
yeah, but I mean,
You know,
it's like one of those things. It's all like people
come
sit there
in
and they're all
to
like,
a
well,
supposed
you're either
professional,
for,
an expert, 10 times.
yeah. But there's a lot of people that are all like, either you're for or you're against vaccinations. I'm like, no, there is a fucking middle ground, assholes. It's like very rarely do you have a one side or the other situation in life. I mean, honestly, how many situations can you think of like that?
Has anybody in the chat the difference in the number of required vaccinations between the 60s and now?
Oh yeah. Like don't get me wrong. I mean, there's some vaccinations I'm all like, really? Like perfect example in the nursing field. I had to get the flu vaccination. Why? I mean, at that point, they're taking a random shot in the dark as to which strain is going to be coming through. So I can sit there, get that fucking shot, and still get the fucking flu. And I can get a nasty one that fucking lays me out for a week.
Oh, yeah.
It's all like, what? It's all like, if you cannot guarantee with any level of certainty something for a vaccination, don't have it. And I'm saying,
I just heard about the new ones.
Level, you know?
I think it was last week I heard a story about the new ones being pushed out.
But like with like the major childhood illnesses that will, if you get that illness, the vast majority of the time you're going to end up blind or having brain damage or something like that. Okay, I can see those. I understand that.
Right.
But it's the less necessary ones, like the quality of life ones, quote unquote. I'm like, fuck off.
Medical field touts quality of life, but they do the exact opposite.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, now you're just fucking with your immune system to fuck with it. Why? It's all like, if your car is running perfectly fucking fine, do you replace the spark plugs? No. Well, you know, I find it weird.
Replace the spark
Since
plugs
I've gone MGTOW, I've started using more and more car analogy, and I fucking hate cars.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Okay, so
I'm disgusted with myself.
There's like over 200 strains of the flu, last that I checked, and this is old information by at least 5 years.
Oh no! Now there's 270 last time I checked,
okay.
And that was at the that was at the end of last year.
As vaccine are the estimated best guess ones they're going to hit, right?
And the highest amount that they can vaccinate you against is a whopping 6.
Right, but they only anyway. They've got 3 that they're pushing, and 2 of the 3 are like H1N1, and another version of it, I think it's 2, and they're not even dead. They're not an actual vaccine. They're live viruses. So they're going to give you H1N1 and 2. Yeah,
but what it is the way that they go through and they do it is they actually weaken the virus so your body can easily pick it apart. It's kind of like in Jurassic Park when the T-Rex grabbed the guy and fucked him up first, and then threw the guy down in front of the baby dino, and then watched it eat it with that kind of maternal, yeah, you get him, you little bastard look.
Right.
It's kind of like that. They do that to the fucking virus. So it's all like, yeah, they're giving you the virus, but the thing is your body sits there and goes, oh, fuck that shit, and it gangbangs it.
Yeah, but you can't forget that these are human manufactured viruses. These are synthetic viruses. These are not naturally occurring within nature.
They have to genetically weaken those viruses. But at that point, guess what? It's not.
No. Prior to that. I'm talking about prior to the vaccination.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
yeah,
Like how they actually came about. Yeah.
yeah, it was a manufactured virus.
We have created some of
And
the
when they
most,
do, if
some of the
anybody knows
most
anything
harmful
about genetic
viruses out there.
splicing and modifications, they know that there's a huge difference between something occurring naturally versus synthetic. And when they make it synthetic, it's kind of like the difference between cross species contamination.
Yeah.
If it's limited to just an animal, it's not supposed to be able to break the species barrier and be able to infect a human, generally speaking. Now, when they do this synthetically, that removes that barrier.
Yep. It's now not limited by the normal constraints of nature.
Yeah, this is all intentional. I mean, like, how many people
And then it
know
turns to
about?
frogs. Oh, sorry.
Okay, well, the Texas flood, Texas hurricane, and all that just
Mhm.
happened.
Mhm.
Did anybody hear about it being manufactured?
No,
Loaded?
I didn't. What's up?
Here, I'll send you something. No, I'll go through the Twitter.
That's a new one on me. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know that we can manufacture all sorts of nasty ass shit, but
I'm just going to let you read this screenshot. Let me find it real quick.
all right, I'm on
Okay,
my
well,
Twitter and my DM. So
you know, like chemtrails?
what was that?
Chemtrails?
Yeah.
They were manufactured. They're like silicate particles, and it's been publicly disclosed for a few years now. And what the fuck? Where is it?
Well,
There it is.
here's the thing. If someone ever wants to manufacture a hurricane, I can tell you right now. One, I mean, it might cost you a little bit of money depending on your connections, whatever, whatnot. But technically, you can actually manufacture something like that with nothing but paint thinner.
Right.
All you have to do is dump a lot of paint thinner into moist equatorial water, and it will actually cause the rise and spin because of the temperature gradient.
Right. Now
Right?
do that between a high pressure front and a low pressure front, or something, a storm that's already pre-existing
Yeah,
at
and
a low level.
and its power level is going to go over 9,000.
Yeah, you're going to agitate it. And then you also have DARPA. If anybody hasn't done their research, it would behoove you to be informed. So did you get that screenshot?
I haven't yet. I'm rolling a cancer stick.
This is quite illuminating. I'll read the header and I'll let you do the rest. It's highlighted with a star. This is all done in pen. Trans Pecos Weather Modification Association, Pecos, Barstow, Texas. Seeding report. That's the key word that they're using to identify what they're doing. August 24th, 2017. And I'll let you get to the rest.
All right, let's see now. Southwesterly flow aloft will work in conjunction with abundant surface moisture to help initiate shower and storms. Lifting mechanism, sufficient surface heating, cold front. Wow, they're literally doing what I just fucking said. Son of a bitch. And they actually calculated it down to the precipitable water. Let's see. Provided small foreseeing opportunity. And they fired glaciogenic flares, which actually functions based off of the same principle as paint thinner when it evaporates. That's exactly what they fucking did.
Right.
Just a higher tech version of it. And for anyone who's wondering what I'm talking about there, they actually had a murder case in Vegas where they could not figure out how the fuck the situation actually went down, and that was the person died from hypothermia on a 110-degree day. They had no idea how that shit went down. Well, it came out that people poured paint thinner on them, like just covered them in paint thinner. And so it ended up taking all of their body heat because of the viscosity of the paint thinner, because it evaporates so quick. So just to give you an idea of what we're talking about, basically what it is it's causing, at that point, what they're doing is they're using the high amount of water content and heat along with the high and low pressure gradient to go ahead, and they fire those flares right into the middle of that little soup, and it acts as a catalyst to start the rotation and the rising and the falling of the air, which is actually what a hurricane truly is.
Right. And if you look at DARPA, it's essentially a microwave system.
Mm-hmm.
They're capable of directing microwaves and other types of radio frequencies in a specific direction.
And and it's not just microwaves. They can also go ahead and direct sound waves specifically.
Right. So it's all.
So they could, from 2 miles away in a helicopter, have someone sit there and torture you with some fucking horrible song. Like, they can sit there and have it where all you're fucking hearing at any given time is, this is the song that never ends. They can literally just continuously hit you with that. And if you think being inside of a building helps you, you are severely wrong.
Well, anyway, the point is, imagine a great big giant microwave. And instead of it being contained, it's directed out weather front. So they're exciting those molecules and getting them agitated, which is exactly the same type of method being used with the paint
And again,
thinner.
if you guys need a visual aid, go ahead and watch Sorcerer's Apprentice.
To me personally, I find a lot of fascination of fiction that actually bears more truth than a lot of these information type media.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that fiction has to come out of some level of reality. That's the thing. So the best fiction out there is stuff where it's based off of actual things that have happened. And I don't care what genre you're in at that point. Doesn't matter. The best fiction comes out of fact.
Well, we know that basically anything that you can imagine at some point in the future is going to be applicable.
Yeah.
We've seen that in so many instances. Like, I mean, you could look at Star Trek. When the original series came out, they came out with the squawky boxes. What the hell, you know? And
yeah.
And during, you know, even in World War One, you know, and that evolved into cell phones and all this type of advanced communication.
Yep.
We've had space theory, like for quantum physics and wormholes and dark matter and all that in science fiction, to be proven using scientific principles and methods, actual science, not actual theory, stated as science, to be the rules that we live within, the rules of reality. Anyway, having an open mind is pretty awesome.
Yeah. But it's also one of those things that battle as far as heart attack guns. Yeah, you know that sound thing that I was mentioning before? Yeah, they can actually make you suffocate to death by flatlining your breathing patterns, by actually, through subsonic sound, they can actually stop you from being able to breathe. They can make it physically impossible for your lungs to expand. Using
Battle.
nothing but
Go check out some of the recent history over the past like 5 to 10 years of like riot gear and riot situations over in New York and Chicago. Mm-hmm. The police they've used Humvees on the top, like satellites. Mm-hmm. Not satellites, but like satellite gear.
Yeah.
And they'll direct and waveforms and microwaves, including audio, at you. Yep. And it can have different
funnily enough
physical harm and effects. It's listed under non-lethal, even though it does have the extreme potential to, if all they have to do is crank it up.
And actually, if you're curious about this is actually somewhat described fairly easily to digest, as it typically is on the channel. But over on Game Theorist, they actually were looking at Mortal Kombat fatalities, and more specifically the one where the bitch shouts at the other one's head and it literally blows her skull out. They actually took a look at that to see if that was actually something that could even conceivably happen, and they actually go ahead and cover the technology that we're talking about in that. It's not a new technology. It's something that's been around for a while. So I highly recommend, if you're curious about it, go over to the Game Theorist channel and take a look at it. It's actually some pretty interesting shit there. But yeah, no, it's actually scary as fuck when you really think about it. Because not only can they make it so you start hallucinating, they can make it to where you're physically ill. They can stop your heart. They can stop your brain completely from functioning. They can actually cause physical damage to your brain. They can stop your breathing. They can control your breathing and make you hyperventilate and pass out. They can do whatever the fuck they want to you. They can literally take control of your body using nothing but sound. And like he said, they can also use microwaves to actually just fry you from the inside out, basically. They can actually cause the water in your cells to boil and your cells to pop. So and you thought a sunburn was bad.
With that being said, I do need to jump out. But considering everything that's going on with confrontations, like with Antifa and all this other bullshit, guys, if you're going to go participate, just be safe.
Yeah.
Be smart, be tactical, and don't put yourself out there as a pawn or as a lemming for someone else's bidding.
Yeah.
You know, take care of your shit. Be smart.
If you're going to go out on your own terms.
Yeah. Don't be someone else's bitch.
Exactly. If you're there for you. You're there for what you believe in. Don't just become another part of the mindless masses. Retain your individuality. Well, thanks for coming on, man. And I went ahead, I put those links in the description for this video. So so people can go ahead, check it out. If you want to go ahead and support them, I highly recommend that you support them. If you got the money, and I'm pretty sure every little bit helps. I'm
even a buck.
Yeah, right. It's all like, everyone's all like, well, a dollar's not going to make that much of a difference. Actually, it can make the difference between winning and losing a court case, believe it or not.
Yeah, it can.
So,
and including court watching.
Yeah.
Even if you're not vested in someone else's interest, you actually are. If you're a dude, if you give a fuck about someone's life, if you give a fuck about kids, I beg you guys, go do one court watch this month, even if you don't do it for the rest of the year. Just go do one.
Yeah.
And see what happens. If you can gather like a couple of guys together with you and go support someone's case, even just randomly, just be there to support or even ask questions, more than you think you can.
Yep. Like me, I was thinking about going down and you know, maybe asking some people some questions, you know, making a video with it and that sort of thing. But I'm all like, yeah, you know what? I'm not willing to open myself up to that legal tomfuckery yet. Keyword there is yet.
Well, you always have the option to do some sort of live out doxing yourself and maybe just do a poll. It's just an idea.
Fair enough. Fair enough. But yeah,
imagine what would happen if we just had 20 guys doing that within one state.
Oh my God.
If you guys want to make a change, it's not as hard as you think it is.
You see, the thing is the primary weapon that I have is I've actually gone ahead and I've taken a couple of case courses, or court cases, and actually gone ahead and taken out any identifiers and that sort of thing. And I sat there and I had people take a look at the evidence and all that sort of thing. You know, of course, getting rid of anything that was identifying and that sort of thing, and how to make their judgment on it. Guess what? Almost not a single one of them went the way that they went in the court case. Almost every last one of the women would have gone to prison, and almost every last one of the guys would have been let loose.
Oh, yeah, man.
It's a very interesting social experiment. I recommend anyone go out and do it.
Yeah, one thing everybody should know going in is one of the first things you need to do is claim, I forget the exact wording, please forgive me for it, but you need to get all documentation, including the audio files, and if you're feeling spunky, demand recordings in the room, in the courtroom, and in the courthouse. It is a constitutional right. Any kind of heat that can be applied to them is a good thing.
Yep.
And obviously, this doesn't apply just to family law. It doesn't apply to this or that. It applies to our entire situation.
Yep. And remember, the thing is tyranny can only function in the shadows. As soon as the sun is shown on it, it evaporates.
Yeah.
It can never function openly. Not without having well established itself. So at this point, it's just keeping it from establishing itself.
Hey, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Have yourself a great day, Legend. Thanks, man. I'll go ahead and I'll get with you. And if you end up wanting to do another live stream that's a little more committed, we can go ahead and do that.
I'm all off the cuff at the moment. I'm looking forward to a bit more stability and freedom.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, the more we can get this information and the more people we can get it out to, it's only going to help. And so, yeah, I highly recommend that anyone go ahead, take a look at what they're doing over on the website. And if you can, go ahead and support them. Like I said, every little bit helps. And thanks for coming on, man. Definitely appreciate it. And I'm thanking everyone that's part of the site and what it's doing. It's actually a fucking awesome thing. It's nice to actually see men getting a fighting chance for once.
Well, one of the really awesome things I'm enjoying about what's going on is the site looks like shit. You know, it's not pretty, but we're proving people wrong that numbers are something that you really need to look at. Yeah. You know, the caliber of an individual counts a hell of a lot more than something superficial like how many people like them.
Yeah.
I mean, are you going to look at the quality of a vehicle, how well it works, versus how shiny it is and the color of paint?
Exactly.
That's kind of the difference right there.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, y'all.
Have yourself a good one, man. But yeah, No, guys, seriously, it's one of those situations, and I think it's funny. This actually kind of came back around to what I was saying to Malcolm earlier. Um, Silence is not always the answer. In fact, it rarely is. Um, and the thing is what they're trying to do on that site, and what he's talking about with court watching is that, I mean, just go ahead and take a look at what happened at the little YouTube gathering where they had all the panels and that sort of thing. I mean, Sargon went ahead, sat in front of the panel along with several other people, only 2 rows of people, sat out in the front and showed that they were actually there. And Anita lost her fucking shit. Why? Because she knew that some uncomfortable questions were probably going to be asked. She felt intimidated because she felt like she was powerless in that situation. Why? Because people weren't remaining silent. This is the reason why whenever, you know, known MRAs and that sort of thing show up to this type of shit, all of a sudden you start seeing the real authoritarian part of these systems come out. Because they are afraid. They're scared because they know that that house of cards that they built can crumble at any fucking time. They have to keep everything away from it. And that's the reason why they look at us in the way that they do. They look at us as the enemy because, quite frankly, we are the enemy. Truth is always going to be the enemy of a lie. And so at this point, we need to go ahead, keep hitting with truth, keep hitting with truth. Like he said, put the fire under him, put the fire under him. Dance, you little midget bastard, dance. That's what we need to fucking do. Because the more pressure we put on this, the faster the change will happen. But we also have to make sure not to go overboard with it. I'm going to say that right now. But go ahead, go out, do the go ahead and do the whole you know, the court watching thing and all that. I highly recommend it. At the very least, you'll get to see firsthand how our legal system operates. But also at the same time, when you've got people there, it's a lot more difficult for them to pull off the bullshit, because the more people they have there, the more chances of a whistleblower there are. Yeah, Terror Battle, we do have to adult better than them. And the thing is part of being an adult is making absolutely certain that we are active. Adults don't just sit around on their ass waiting for change to happen. They make the change happen. So go ahead, be active. I'm not saying go out there and be like Antifa, go out and attack people and all that. No, 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 no. No. That's what we're fighting against. But we need to make absolutely certain that our voices are heard. We have to make absolutely certain that our presence is felt. Period. End of story. Because as soon as they think you're not around, that's when they're going to start doing the shit. That's when they're going to go back to this partisan bullcrap. That's when they're going to go back to men are guilty, women are innocent bullshit. Yeah, Battle. I absolutely love Legend MGTOW. He actually does quite a bit. He shares a lot of information. Very knowledgeable guy. Definitely, absolutely respect him. Glad he came on to the channel. I'm glad I ended up meeting him. But no, honestly, at this point, it actually is on us. And like I said before, it is on us. Because the thing is if we don't do anything, well, then we have no right to bitch. I would rather say I tried to go ahead and make a difference than sit there and say, yeah, I sat silently by while this happened. I don't know about all you. Now, the thing is, as someone like me, I just blatantly come out and I don't give a fuck what people care about me. So that's kind of a thing. I mean, I give a shit if people lie about me, but I mean, you can like me, you can dislike me. I don't care. But the thing is not everyone can be like that. There's got to be some of those kind of, I guess you would call them PR people. I am not that person. I'm way too crass to be a PR person. But at the same time, it's like we need to stop being afraid of actually standing up and speaking out. Hell, the thing is, we need to stop being afraid of just standing up. Because that's kind of like what we're at right now. I mean, hell, they're trying to sit there and tell you that you don't have a right to go in and view how our legal system's going. Well, guess what? Our legal system is supposed to be regulated by us. So if we're not allowed to go in and see how it's going, how in the fuck are we supposed to keep it in check? Just out of curiosity. So, like I said, go ahead, take a look at the links that I put into the descriptor. Again, I highly recommend that you go ahead and donate, whether you're going in as a court watcher and then you go ahead and report what happened or whatever, whatnot. But by all means, go ahead and help out in some way. Because the thing is you helping out this site is going to help out a lot of men. There's a lot of men that are already starting to use the resources there. It's one of the only places where men actually get the information that they need without having to wrench it from the cold, dead hands of some fucking feminist cunt that found her place in the legal system. So by all means, go ahead, help out, do your part, and use the knowledge that you gain. I mean, honestly, use the knowledge that you gain. Share that knowledge. But when we go ahead and we actually start getting some changes to happen, then people are going to take notice. And I think websites like the one that Legend was talking about are very, very useful. It's the only way to enact change, because the thing is with the way that our legal system functions is, well, it goes off of how previous court cases have gone. I mean, I'm just going to be honest. I mean, it's an oversimplification, but that's really honestly how it fucking goes. And right now, I'm just going to be completely honest. The way that court cases have been going have been very gynocentric. I'm sure I don't have to tell anyone that's watching right now any of this. But I mean, you got men being overly punished for crimes, women being underly punished for crimes. You got more male conviction rates than female conviction rates. Even if you have the same exact, burden of evidence or burden of proof, it doesn't matter. So I say, let's go ahead and make MGTOW a little more than what people perceive it to be. Let's make it more than people just sitting there and just speaking truth. Let's go ahead and actually go ahead and make MGTOW about bringing truth out to the masses. Like me, I have my channel. Yeah, my channel is pretty fucking small, but it's still growing. And to everyone that's subscribed, I'm always thankful. I'm always appreciative. And I thank everyone for the interaction that they've been giving. People have actually been taking the millisecond out of their day to hit the like button and all that sort of thing. I always appreciate that sort of shit. But the thing is, the more we can get this information out, the better. Both to men and to women. I mean, when you're speaking to a woman, be very careful because they might want to nuke you from low orbit. But hey, since when has doing the right thing ever been easy? Just out of curiosity. At what point in your life has doing the right thing in the face of everyone else doing the wrong thing? When has that ever been easy? When has it ever been easy to go against the crowd, to go against the grain? Never. But here's the thing. Almost every last one of you that's gone through it, after it's all said and done, you just sit there, you cock your head back, and you yell at the top of your lungs, "Worth it!" So go ahead, take part, become an active member. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to end this stream here. Going to end it on a fucking positive. Men have finally got a way of fucking fighting back. Thank you very much, Legend, and anyone else involved with it. Everyone, go ahead and do your fucking part. The thing is the more that this grows, the more resources that are available to men, the more changes we can enact, and the fairer the laws will get. I mean, hell, I'm pretty sure even women are getting sick and tired of this bullshit. I'm talking about, just women in general. I'm not talking about feminists because I don't consider them women. I consider them ugly bridge trolls. I mean, they look the part anyway. But, the thing is women are getting sick and tired of having effeminate men. Men are sick and tired of being told that them being masculine, the thing that comes naturally to us, is a fucking bad thing. And so right now, I honestly think that society's actually aching for a change. It just needs the catalyst. Well, MGTOW can be that catalyst. So let's go ahead and start catalyzing the reaction. I think people have waited long enough, don't you? Have yourselves a nice day. I'll talk to you later.